This warthog set his sights on a lioness, the queen of speed and style. The air practically crackled with tension as the warthog revved up, his V16 supercharged engine roaring to life. With a dramatic stomp on the gas pedal, the savannah drag race was on. He tore across the plains like a bullet, his engine's thunderous roar echoing across the grassland. But the lioness? With her pedal pressed to the floor, she closed the gap, her ride screaming in defiance. It was neck and neck, until the ultimate test, the drift. The warthog executed a flawless corner slide, kicking up a fountain of water and pulling ahead, leaving the lioness with no choice but to pull over, admit defeat, and shut down her engine. Victorious and riding high on his ego, the warthog decided to take things to the next level. Spotting the Lion King approaching from the opposite direction, he revved up, ready to challenge. With his tires worn thin from an entire day of drifting, the inevitable happened. Four-wheel skid and a spectacular crash. The Lion King didn't waste a second, grabbed the warthog, flipped him over, and started disassembling his V16 engine to sell for scrap. Pay attention, the warthog is in trouble. It was blocked by a group of wild dogs on its way. Instead of running away in fear, the warthog turned a challenging gaze towards the pack of wild dogs. Indeed, the stray dogs have never encountered a similar situation before, and they are quite confused. So, what will they do next? One of the wild dogs provocatively challenged the warthog. The warthog took a step forward, frightening the wild dog, which quickly retreated. They stood still facing each other for a while. The warthog turned around, ready to leave, but the wild dog seemed eager to try, causing it to pause. It approached the wild dogs, its two sharp tusks intimidating them. At this moment, no wild dog dared to initiate an attack on the warthog. In the harsh wilderness, nobody wanted to get injured. Suddenly, the warthog charged towards the wild dogs, and they had to step aside. If touched by those sharp tusks, they risked severe injuries or even loss of life. Once the warthog showed signs of turning away, the wild dogs immediately looked ready to pounce. In such close proximity, escaping from the warthog seemed challenging. The wild dogs, eyeing the tantalizing warthog meat, were determined not to let the opportunity slip away. One wild dog circled behind the warthog, attempting to showcase its famous move. However, a quick turn from the warthog scared it away. The wild dogs took turns provoking the warthog, trying to divert its attention to find the perfect moment for a surprise attack. In this life-and-death game, the warthog also became alert. If the wild dogs lost, they would miss just one meal, but for the warthog, losing meant losing its life. It had no tomorrow. The warthog charged at the wild dogs multiple times, driving them back in fear. After chasing away the wild dogs, the warthog retreated into the bushes, seemingly changing its strategy. Choosing a route through the forest, it aimed at a group of small deer. After a brief standoff, the warthog once again charged at the wild dogs, dispersing them. Meanwhile, two zebras approached confidently from a distance, eyeing the chance to escape. Slowly, the warthog moved towards the bushes, and the wild dogs, watching the zebras closely, dared not make a move. Seizing the opportunity, the warthog accelerated and ran into the woods. The disappointed wild dogs, with a few returning from chasing the warthog, remained on the road, observing the zebras. However, their interest in zebra meat was limited. The wild dogs that went after the warthog returned, indicating that the warthog had successfully escaped. The wild dogs had no choice but to abandon their hunting plan and leave. The sixth sense of the warthog is so sharp that it can sense danger right in front of it without even looking. The lion, hiding in a spot so discreet that even a blind person could see it, was utterly confused when it saw the warthog approaching. Seeing the prey stop, the lion's heart leaped into its throat. To ensure it could savor a delicious meal of pork belly, the lion crouched even lower to avoid alerting the warthog. However, The warthog wasn't paying attention to the lion. It had only noticed the cameraman filming from behind. The warthog had once heard the saying, "Where there's a cameraman, there's danger." It glanced at the cameraman and asked, "Is this lion really that dangerous?" To ensure its safety, the warthog cautiously decided to take a detour from a higher path. He believed that even if it was just a rumor, it was better to be safe than sorry. The warthog's vigilance allowed it and its wife to avoid the lion's trap successfully. The lion, still hidden, wondered why the warthog hadn't come after such a long time of observing. It continued to wait patiently, not knowing that the warthog and its wife had already circled behind it. The lion remained in hiding, even afraid to breathe too loudly for fear of being heard by the warthog. In its mind, it was already imagining how it would enjoy the pork belly, either grilled or steamed. Little did it know, the two warthogs it was ambushing had already made it home. The warthog simply waited for its wife to enter the house first. Then it showed off a bit by reversing its 400 horsepower V16 turbo engine before entering the house, all while glancing at the cameraman. Indeed, its reversing skills were impressive. Without even looking at the cameraman, it could back into the pen perfectly. The cameraman could only applaud in admiration. The arrogant hyena, even when bitten by the Lion King, is still laughing secretly. So why did this bizarre scene happen just now? The leopard caught a gazelle, only to be ambushed and robbed by the hyena. There's no doubt that the hyena is the leopard's boss. Of course, for this unexpected buffet, the hyena is overjoyed. It directly packs up the gazelle and takes it all away. Other hyenas nearby, upon hearing the news, quickly rush over, intending to share this gazelle feast. However, this arrogant hyena refuses to share the feast, driving everyone away to eat alone. But what this hyena doesn't know is that danger is looming. The Lion King, patrolling the territory, seizes the opportunity to pin down this hyena while it's stealing the gazelle alone. The hyena is utterly bewildered. It never crossed his mind that the Lion King, the ruler of the grasslands, would resort to such treachery and ambush him. Lions and hyenas have always been at odds, so the unfortunate hyena can imagine how miserable he will be. At this moment, the hyena is firmly gripped by the lion, who is determined to teach this ignorant hyena a lesson. Despite the hyena's usual arrogance in front of the lion, it can only cower like a stray dog with its tail between its legs. The limping warthog spotted the crocodile leather shoes lurking beneath the water. Instead of running away, it boldly approached to provoke the crocodile. Little did the crocodile know that the warthog was just putting on a show and was preparing to ambush. The crocodile thought the current distance wasn't ideal for an attack, so it stayed still, not daring to take a deep breath, waiting for the warthog to come closer. Nearby, a pack of wild dogs noticed the warthog's reckless behavior and began circling, preparing to surround it. The warthog kept provoking the crocodile, completely unaware that danger was closing in. When the crocodile didn't move, the warthog even kicked sand onto its opponent. Instantly, the crocodile attacked, but just as it opened its jaws, the warthog darted away at lightning speed. The warthog moved so fast that even after the crocodile blinked 100 times, it still couldn't comprehend what had just happened. However, the warthog didn't get far before it was surrounded by the pack of wild dogs. The warthog hadn't anticipated this turn of events and began to feel a bit scared. But with its turbo engine, it quickly left the hyenas in the dust and dashed into its newly built mansion, locking the door behind it. Feeling safe, it even poked its head out and yelled, "Get the fuck out of here, bitch! Get the fuck out of here, bitch!" The warthog acted all arrogant again. Seeing a hyena sneaking around near his front door with bad intentions, instead of tucking his tail and running like others, the warthog slowly backed into his house and even spat in disdain. A nearby leopard was utterly shocked, standing on two legs to get a better look. It turned out This was the warthog's mansion. Though the warthog wasn't afraid of the hyena, he feared the leopard like a tiger because it often attacked him from behind with a deadly chokehold. As soon as the hyena left, the leopard started digging around. Even though the warthog had bolted his door, he was still terrified. He could never have imagined the leopard had such a perfect lock-picking skill. It only took the leopard half an hour to crack the code and swing the door wide open. Who could have guessed the password was 123456? And now, the warthog was no better than a fish on the chopping block. Despite trying to resist, he eventually found himself in the leopard's chokehold. This was the warthog's biggest weakness. Once his throat was locked up, his razor-sharp tusks became nothing more than decorations. To finish the warthog off more easily, the leopard used all its strength to drag him out of the den. However, what the leopard didn't know was that the hyena was lurking nearby, waiting for a free meal. The handsome warthog, with his courage, decided to taunt the lioness. Where did he get such bravery? It turns out that the warthog was taking his lover for a stroll, and he boldly suggested hardering the soft spot with his partner right in the middle of the vast savanna. The female warthog couldn't agree to his rather over-the-top request, especially with a lioness stalking them from behind. So the warthog decided to chase the lioness away, or at least provoke her enough to leave. However, the lioness was not someone to be easily mocked, and she became extremely furious at being disrespected by the warthog. Facing the relentless pursuit of the lioness, the warthog quickly ordered his two lovers to step aside to avoid being caught up in the mess. Then, he faced the lioness one-on-one. The warthog immediately accelerated, unleashing his full speed with the latest turbo engine. But the lioness seemed to be on some sort of stimulant, swiftly catching up from behind. Just as the situation was growing dire, the warthog's engine suddenly malfunctioned. He stumbled and was quickly pounced upon by the lioness. As it turns out, the warthog had spent too much money building the most beautiful villa on the savannah and had maintained his engine using fake oil. So, when he
Help me! Help me!
Three lion brothers who had not eaten for 3 days decided to turn into thieves, stealing a meal that a leopard was storing in his tree villa. But it didn't take long before they all started falling out. For one, the branches couldn't handle the weight of these three brothers, and on top of that, they started getting pushy with each other up there. A few minutes later, the leopard returned and saw the whole scene unfold. You could almost see the shock on its face. Seems like it left its kill way too low. At this moment, the first lion was cornered with no way out and had no choice but to awkwardly jump down from a high spot, looking every bit the guilty thief caught in the act. But the second lion's situation? That's where it got embarrassing. He was wedged between branches, stuck in place, with nowhere to go, swinging back and forth like he was on a jungle gym. Just when he thought he had grabbed hold of a lifeline, the moment he let go with his front paws, down he went face first. The third lion? He got off lucky. He managed to climb back down the way he came. But if we're talking about who had the worst luck, it was the second lion. He didn't get any food and ended up flat on his back. The three brothers were fine. No real damage was done. But the poor leopard? Yes, it was the biggest loser in this whole mess. Have you ever seen the most badass warthog? He actually ignored the leopard's throat locking and directly dragged it into the cave. You would never imagine how tragic the fate of the leopard would be. It's this arrogant leopard who unexpectedly caught a large warthog. However, this leopard is still unaware that danger has befallen him. The warthog was quite puzzled about this. He had just carefully dressed up, planning to go out and meet with his friends. But as soon as he stepped out, he was held down by this leopard. At this moment, the handsome warthog must have felt like a herd of 10,000 bees surrounding him. His just styled hair was messed up again. Angry, the warthog scolded and grumbled, but the leopard beneath him paid no attention. He was famished and only focused on taking down the warthog. The leopard didn't realize that he had targeted the wrong opponent today. This warthog was indeed too powerful. With a body full of tendons and meat, the leopard obviously couldn't subdue him. Despite the leopard using all his skills, he couldn't bring down the warthog. Instead, the warthog slowly began dragging him towards his cave. It was only at this moment that the leopard realized the danger. He knew that once the warthog dragged him into his cave, death would be inevitable. The situation had already spun out of control, turning into the warthog attempting to drag the leopard into the cave, treating it like a genuine leather pillow. The leopard was completely bewildered. Look at his disheveled appearance, almost like doing splits on two legs, putting in all his strength. It was a showdown of strength. In the face of absolute strength, fancy hunting skills were useless. At this point, the warthog and the leopard had entered a state of extreme tug-of-war. Seeing that the warthog was about to completely pull him into his cave, the leopard exerted more force. The warthog, with the determination to drag the leopard into his cave, showcased his signature skill of moonwalking. Now, the leopard probably couldn't resist it anymore. His body was gradually pulled into the cave by the vigorous warthog. Once inside the cave, the leopard would be unable to escape. However, the leopard still refused to give up the mouth-watering pork feast within reach. He firmly bit the warthog. This irritated the warthog, who ruthlessly jabbed his sharp fangs towards the leopard. Unable to endure the pain, the leopard reluctantly let go of the mouthful, escaping in haste.
Kasongo, yeah, yeah. Somebody nanga. Kasongo, mbona wewe. Songa libala. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Kasongo, mbona wewe. Mbona wewe. Somebody nanga, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Songo, mbona wewe. Mbona wewe. Mobali nanga, Atali ya mama yake kama naye.
Yeba nange.
Katonda w'amaanyi, Katonda wa kisa. Akawumbika emboofu.
Kasongo, yeah. Mbali nanga. Kasongo, mbona wewe. Songa libala. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Kasongo, mbona wewe. Mbona wewe. Mbali nanga,